I wish I had done this from when I was 18. And that's what I would recommend to anybody. Start early, get in, live your best life.
My name is Kevin McIntosh, and this is the Closing Table, where we talk to experts about their experience in real estate all across the country. Let's go. And welcome to the Closing Table. I am your host, and I go by the name of Kevin C. McIntosh. And joining us on this episode, sharing her knowledge, we have the pleasure of speaking with Cynthia Malmquist. How you doing, Cynthia?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for being here. Like I always say, we appreciate you taking time out of your very busy day. When you could be out closing deals, you're here with us at the Closing Table. So thank you for that. Hey, Cynthia, before we get into the business, per usual, I like to have fun. I am very childish and immature, so I got a game for you. It's called Fill in the Blank. I got a few sentences related to real estate, and they have blanks in them, so they are incomplete sentences. I need you to help me complete these sentences with whatever context makes sense. Sounds
Alrighty.
good. You ready?
Yep.
All right. First one. In 10 years, the real estate industry will be blank.
Run by artificial intelligence.
Oh, wow. Okay. I love it. Let's keep going. Blank is the key to longevity as a realtor.
Working your network and your sphere is the key to longevity in this business.
Okay. If you can blank, you can maintain a home.
If you can breathe, you can maintain a home. It's not that hard.
All right, last one. Blank is how you add value to your home.
Improvements and maintenance.
Perfecto. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, Cynthia, for leading us down that path. We appreciate it. So take this time. If you got 60 seconds or less, I want you to explain to me and our audience, who is Cynthia outside of real estate? Who are we talking to?
That's hard because my whole entire life revolves around real estate. Honestly, I mean, 7 days a week, almost 24/7, it feels like sometimes. But outside of real estate, I love to fish. My husband and I have a 21-foot bass boat that we fish all the
Ooh.
time. Although we don't like fish, we don't keep any fish, we release the fish.
That sounds
And
like me. I don't eat
yeah,
seafood. I'll be the same.
yeah. So in the summer, starting in June, we're actually in a fishing league and we compete against other teams in surrounding lakes, kind of mostly in Livingston County, or where the lakes are. And my husband and I try to get out at least twice a week fishing. And other than that, we work on our home because I myself bought a repo home. And so over the years, we have been continually upgrading that and fixing everything that wasn't fixed prior to us owning it. So I'm just a home girl who I live on 12 acres. I love where I live. I really don't leave the house unless it's for real estate and modern technology. Honestly, the only time you need to leave is showings and closings. So
Yeah.
I live in a place where it's so pretty. I don't even consider going up north because I just love my property so much. But that's
Oh,
me. I'm a
wow.
social media addict. I can say that. And
Okay.
I just love technology. If I wasn't in real
I
estate, I
love
would
that.
probably be studying some kind of technology field.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
man. Okay. This is going to get interesting. I love that. First and foremost. Okay. Yeah. You know what? I used to think I was I was weird because I would fish, but I cannot eat fish. I cannot
Can't.
eat
No,
seafood at all. I
no.
thought
Yeah.
I was weird, but thank
No,
you for confirming I'm not the only person out here that feels that way.
not at all. And it's scary now. I mean, they say how many chemicals and, metals are in these fish. And so we just put them back.
Good point. Good point. Oh man, that's a whole nother topic though. All right,
Yes.
cool. Good way to start things off. All right, Cynthia, I want you to play the fence with this next question. These next couple questions. I want
Okay.
you speak on both sides of buying and renting. And by both sides, I want you to explain what are some pros and cons of buying a property.
Okay. So the pros are that when you purchase a property, you are gaining equity unless you are not going to be there for more than 2 years. It happens. People get job
Mm,
relocations. They have no control over the situation. But that's one of the huge pros. Another pro is that you're able to write off so many things on your taxes, capital improvements, the taxes that you paid. You're getting credit for all of that. And so I think that that's really important. And I think it's a huge morale booster for any person that owns a home. It gives them confidence and it's building your net worth.
mm,
So the cons would be, we can sometimes you get that pre-approval and you can buy X dollars a house. And a lot of times people will go right up to that maximum and they're not thinking through all of the challenges that come with that mortgage. And every
mm-hmm.
single year, if the market's increasing, so are your taxes. And I am blown
Ooh.
away by the tax base in the greater Lansing area. It is insane. Since from when I started in 2015, it's just scary. I don't know how people do it. You're spending
Mm,
200,000 on a house, and in like whole Lansing, you're paying $4,000 in taxes. So you're adding
ooh.
that onto your monthly payment. Insurance rates have gone up,
Yep,
and
yep,
so I
yep.
think that
Oh
is
my goodness.
it's a huge drawback for people if they don't understand all the pieces and parts of purchasing. And then you have
Mm,
situations where, we're at top dollar right now in the market. And if you buy a house and then you have to leave in a year, you're just not going to recoup that money. You're just not. And so you're just going to have to take the hit. And so hopefully when people buy, they're planning to stay in it for 2 to 5 years minimum.
mm,
I would hope.
mm. Mm, mm. I love how you spoke. See, we can talk all day about the benefits and the pros of buying a
Yeah.
home, but to take it to that next level and being and transparent about some of the cons
Yeah.
of buying a home, that's high level stuff. If you ask me, it just sheds a light on things, and it's not even that it's a con. It's just something that you need to be conscious of.
Yes.
Let's just say con
Absolutely.
mean conscious. You be conscious
Yeah.
of these things to help you better prepare for those. So.
Right. Right.
Speaking of, okay, so let's speak on the other side of the fence in a way. Renting. Can you speak to any pros and cons of renting, especially nowadays?
Yeah. Well, rents are out of control. We all know that, and they're
Mm-hmm.
very
True.
scarce. And so, I mean, I have a client recently. We have put in so many bids, 10, 15,000 over ask, but we're not going to waive that inspection. And so I said to him this week, I said, you maybe would just think about renting for a year, just a cooling off period to see where we're at in a year because they're saying interest rates will drop in 2024. We're hoping.
Mm,
And they're saying it's already stabilizing a little bit because inflation's stabilizing. But I think for people, they come in and they do a fellowship or an internship at MSU. Do you want to purchase if you're only here for a year? No, absolutely
right, right.
not. You want to rent. And so I think you have to look at your life situation and see where you're at. Is it worth renting or is it worth buying? And so, I mean, yes, you're losing money every single month by renting, but it's a carefree lifestyle. You don't have to mow the grass. You don't have to,
Mm,
arrange
yeah.
for garbage. If you're in an apartment, it comes with amenities. And so there can be some huge pluses. I have a listing under contract and they're elderly folks and they are leaving a 2,700 square foot house to go live in a ranch style apartment because the husband's disabled and it's all on the wife. And so those
Mm,
are excellent points where they have no desire to own at this point. They're going to
mm-hmm.
rent and enjoy the rest of their life. So
Mm, mm,
that to me, those are pros. But the cons, of course, are that you're not building any equity. If you're
yep.
in an apartment complex, you have neighbors and noise, and you can have conflicts with people. And I think that, when you rent, you should maybe, if you're going to be in a complex, try to ask the neighbors and see what it's like, really, because I mean, there's some sticky situations when you rent, and you're
Mm-hmm.
relying on that landlord to be there and be available when there's an emergency or a situation with your rental. Is he? Is she? You don't know. So those are some things that are just kind of unknowns, unfortunately, unless you're in a big complex. But I read, that there's a lot of complexes in Lansing and they have red tags on them. So there's a lot of iffy landlords. Some of these landlords are out of state, a huge majority of them, because we have such a low cost of living here. And to purchase is very low cost compared to many places in the country. And so you have these out of state investors buying these. And then are they really managing them the way they need to be for you living there? And so that's a big concern.
Yeah. Yeah. You all truth right there. As someone who is renting right now, I
Oh.
100%. I literally yesterday, I think it was 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken, I emailed my landlord about some repairs, and I think I just got a reply today.
Uh-huh.
Today, you see,
Yep.
so I'm at their mercy of whenever they can
Yes.
come over and repair some
Yes.
things.
Yeah. And it may be a
Yeah,
few
you
more days
spoke on it.
after that before they even show up,
Yeah,
depending
that's
on what
true.
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what's funny? They did email me and said, "Hey, thanks for emailing us. We'll let you know when we can come there." Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, great point. Solid points right there. We appreciate it. And just for clarification purpose, because I don't think we clarified this. You mentioned it a few times. For our worldwide audience, can you just explain to us your current market that you are serving, just to let people know where we
Yes.
are?
I am serving the greater Lansing area in Michigan.
There it is. There it
Yeah.
is. Thank you for that. Okay. So, uh, there's a few exterior home improvements to consider, whenever you are looking to, do some upgrades and things like that. So, what are some exterior home improvements that you could do to increase the return on your investment?
Well,
Couple
what
key
I
key points.
often see is, I'm showing houses and you go in the house and it's in pristine condition. It's lovely. And then you maybe go out the slider door, the back door, and the deck is just ripped apart. The paint's
Mm-hmm.
coming off. Everything is
Yep.
wrong, wobbly, handrails, that kind of thing. So I think it's super important with decks and front porches to make sure that they are very presentable. Keep
Mm,
maintaining that deck, whether you're using that Restore product or you're power washing it every single spring. Another
yep.
thing I see in our area a lot is nobody power washes their house, it seems like. There's lots of power washing companies around here, but the houses here, because of our humidity and moisture, they get nasty. And so it's
Mm,
really important to do that. But if you do it yourself, never use a power washer on vinyl windows because it can void the warranty. So it's important to do all of those things. And I think upgraded lighting can be super important. I think having a smart home where you have the Ring cameras or the
mm-hmm.
Simply
Mm-hmm.
Safe systems, I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of buyers are looking for that. It just gives them peace of mind and security. So if I was going to update something, I would definitely start there first.
That power washing note was very interesting. My brother just started a power washing business,
Did
and
he?
yeah, and it's funny because I was just telling him, I said you should reach out to realtors and see, I mean, obviously since I'm talking to real estate agents and I know there's a cleaning process that
Yes.
goes in there, I'm like, yo, reach out to realtors and see about
Yes.
power washing homes and stuff like that. So you
Right.
mentioning that just kind of
Right.
confirmed that. That's
Yeah, I had an out of state. Well, they had already moved out of state and they needed power washing. So here I am calling all these
mm-hmm.
numbers because, normally a homeowner would do that because they're still living there. So it's an excellent idea and he could gain a lot of business.
Interessante. All right, we appreciate that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Cynthia. Um, What in the world is Clue Insurance? I'm doing some random research online and I find something that says Clue Insurance, all capital letters, CLUE Insurance. What is
Hmm.
Clue Insurance? What is that Clue Insurance report? And is it necessary?
I think it is necessary. What it is, I'm not sure that if it's an acronym for something. I truly don't know, unfortunately.
Right.
But what it is when there's been a water claim a hailstorm that damaged your house, a pipe that burst. Those are all recorded when you make a claim on your property. And so what I
Mm,
always say to my buyers is if you really love this property and it may be in the disclosures they've mentioned something or alluded to that, but even if they haven't, I think it's important for buyers to call their insurance company and say, here's the address of the property that I'm looking at. Can you see what kind of claims have been made on this property? Because that water
mm,
claim, depending on what it is, it stays with the property X number of years. And so you're going to
gotcha.
pay higher rates on those types of properties that have had issues
Mm,
in the past. So as far as
mm.
that goes, that's all I know about it. But I think it's really important because, if you're in a flood zone, and
Right.
this
Oh yeah.
property, yeah, I mean, if you're going to deal with those things, Michigan is one of 5 states that will allow aftermarket flood insurance, which can save you
Really?
thousands. Yes, thousands.
Mm.
And the only way you can use it is if you are a cash or conventional buyer. If you've got a federally backed mortgage, you cannot access those. You have to buy federal flood. And so,
What?
yes, and this is all learned through, experience. And so, let's say it's a flood zone property and it's an AE property or whatever. A
Mm.
normal person on the aftermarket would pay maybe 800 additional plus your homeowner's policy. But a federally funded mortgage could pay something like 1200, 2000 in addition to your home insurance. Yes. So it is critical that your agent always makes sure that it's
What?
not in the flood zone if you
Yeah.
have a federally backed FHA,
Right.
VA, USDA.
USDA.
Yeah,
Oh man.
it's huge.
Thank you for opening my eyes on that because that is like, whoa,
It
I
is.
did
It's
not know that.
crazy.
Oh, that's
Yes.
good to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Especially in Michigan, because I mean, it can rain in some areas and
It
you can get some flooding
Yes,
for
yes. And
sure.
yeah, and there's lots of places like I service Shiawassee County a lot
Uh
additionally.
huh.
And in Owasso, for example, there's like 5 different areas that are flood
Mm,
zones. So it's just little pockets here and there. And so I
mm-hmm.
always, when I have a client, I always check before I schedule to make sure it's not in the flood zone. So they're aware, if it was, and then we make that determination at that point. But this is
Right.
all thanks to like Texas and Louisiana and Florida, all of those flood claims, it's a federally run program and it's super, super expensive.
Oof.
Yeah,
Oh man. All right. Well, audience listening right now, you already, especially if you live in Michigan, check your
that's right.
co-insurance report.
Yeah,
Check
yes,
your
yes,
co-insurance
yes,
report
yes.
if you can. Go ahead and get that taken care of. Cynthia, I need some help here. Um, maybe maybe I'm just not intelligent enough, but I need help here. What
Okay.
is the difference between a condo, an apartment, and a townhouse? Now, I don't know if this is a stupid question, but I
No, of
literally need
course
to know
not.
the difference between the three.
Okay, so a condo is a complex where well, a condo can be a standalone condo like a house, that it
Mm-hmm.
can be a condo, and they may have an association, they may not have an association. There's condo complexes and you own the condo but you pay a monthly fee for them to maintain the exterior, the snow, the
Right.
grass, and some even pay in that association fee. They can pay for liability insurance, fire insurance. So that's a condo. Then a townhome is it's just a connected property that you own outright. So
Mm,
it's
mm,
a vertical property compared to a ranch house or something, and there may be multiple together. And then, of course, an apartment is where you live and you pay rent every month and you get no benefit as far as equity. But there's one more that we have in town here, and that's called a cooperative.
I've heard
Ponds
of that.
Cooperative. Yes, I'm just
Mm,
getting ready to list one of these properties, and they're extremely challenging because they are similar to condos, but they carry a balance that you still owe. So even
mm-hmm.
when you sell, you take that balance and then the seller adds on to what they would like to get for profit onto that balance that's owed on that cooperative. And so there's multiple fees involved with those, but they're very low price. Like the ones in the ponds are in the $40,000 to $50,000 range. And so people have to
Right.
come in with a cash balance in addition to what the cooperative balance is owed on that unit. And so you can get financing on the cooperative balance, but you have to come
Right.
in with the cash for the rest.
The first time I heard of one of those co-ops, we were speaking to a realtor from New York, and they were telling me how it's popular there, and I could actually understand why, with rents being so high and so many people
Right.
being there. I literally could understand that.
Right.
I'm a little. I mean, I could understand it being in other markets too, but I had no idea we were doing those in Michigan. I guess shocked but not surprised. But just from my understanding, to make sure we're talking about the same thing, these co-ops are the owners that are residents of the co-op.
Yes.
They're all responsible for rent, and the rent is like a collective thing, correct? So if one person doesn't pay rent, that means the entire thing isn't paid for, and they have to resolve that, correct?
I honestly do not know that detail.
Okay.
I
All right.
don't, but I mean there are avenues for the complex to foreclose on you if you're not,
Mm,
fulfilling your obligation.
right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But that makes sense what you said.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, definitely. It definitely makes sense. I get it. Thank you for clarifying that. Um, solar power, energy, electric cars, all of these things seem to be the future. Cars going all electric is the future, and I'm seeing a lot more homes. Well, I guess I wouldn't say a lot more, but I guess when I get to doing my research, I see solar power, solar energy. It makes me want one also because these utility bills are ridiculous.
Right.
So just from your perspective, your personal experience, what are some pros and cons of residential solar power? Are you seeing these at all in your clients? What's going on with this in your experience?
I have not done a deal personally with solar panels attached to a property. However,
Okay.
I think solar is a phenomenal idea for a personal home.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
think it is a tremendous saving. And there's off grid option. That's a big thing nowadays too, the off grid life. But the thing with those solar panels is you owe that solar company for those panels, which is separate from the mortgage that you owe. So, in order to sell that house, that has to be wiped clean. So, at closing, you're going to be responsible as the seller for paying off that company, and it can be an enormous bill. Unless, I don't
Sheesh.
know if some of them have transfer of rights, but as far as everything that I've read, those have to be paid off at closing. So if you're going to put solar panels on, I would think you better stay in that house for a long time in order to
Oh
reap the
yeah.
benefits. And then what we're dealing with out in Shiawassee County, Livingston County, is the state has put a huge push on industrial solar farms. So they're
Okay.
taking agricultural land out of production and putting these 16-foot solar panels on the properties. And the solar companies are kind of being dirty about it and sneaking around and having agreements with farmers to pay them per acre. And the people in these townships have no idea that it's going on until it's almost too late. And so my
Right.
property, I said I lived on 12 acres. My entire property is surrounded by farmland. And I was one of the unlucky ones that was going to have an entire field of solar panels surrounding me. And, I feel like there's health benefits, health risks to it, not benefits.
Mhm.
We're in Michigan, it snows in 8 months of the year here. You
That's
don't have
true. That's
sunshine
true.
every day. Why are
That's
they
true.
pushing this? I don't understand. To take actual agricultural food land out of
That's what I don't
production.
get.
And so the
Yeah.
townships that are all fighting out where I live in Cohocton Township in Conway, they have a Facebook group. We have over 1,000 people on this. We're all fighting it. We're meeting with our townships, our planning commissions. Out in Shiawassee County, if you go down M13 by Lennon, as far as I can see, there's these ugly solar panels, and the solar companies say, "Oh, it doesn't affect your property value," and it does. It absolutely.
I don't see why it wouldn't.
Oh, it does. I mean, it's crazy. I
Yeah,
just had a
I was
listing down the
saying.
road from my house, and we had 4 cancellations because they found out we disclosed it on our disclosure and said there's a potential for solar in the immediate area. And we lost 4 clients right there. Bam, they're out. So they
That's
cannot
crazy.
say that it does not bring property values down. And it's just a huge concern. I know our governor wants our state to go green, but I mean, why can't they put these on? Like, MSU has them above their parking
Yeah,
areas. Why not
yeah.
put these on top of factories or areas
Hmm.
where, there's not residential homes? It's a huge worry. So I would say to anybody in Shiawassee County, Livingston County, I don't know about Ingham, but to absolutely check with those townships and find out if you're going to be surrounded by solar before you purchase, because they had 1,000 acres in our area, but our township has been wonderful and they've narrowed it down to 134 acres in one spot. So I'm safe now.
Mm.
But it's
And
it's a
and
huge concern.
and the thing about it, we're talking about the industrial scale of the solar panels,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
So it's not even like the residents in that area are benefiting from
They
it at
aren't, because
all.
they are shipping that power out. They pick
Right.
places by high density power lines so they can ship it away. And their thing is, oh, well, we're going to give money to the schools and to the fire department and the police. Well, I mean, that helps you, but it doesn't help you when you're living surrounded by these. I mean,
Yeah.
a nightmare.
Yeah. Oh man. See,
Yeah.
and just as a average resident, you'll drive past, and I drive past some areas where you do see those solar panels. I think nothing of it. I just think,
Yeah.
oh wow, that's cool. We're
Yeah.
we're moving into that direction. But when you break down what's going on for real, like, yo, get this out of my yard.
Oh yeah,
Why is it
yeah,
here?
yeah. And then they were saying, "Oh, we want a 50-foot setback from your property," when in the ordinance prior is 1,000 feet, and they want to have
Oh
it
wow.
50 feet
Oh
from
no.
our
Oh
property.
no.
So we know it's going to
Mm-mm.
happen, and so if you could get with your township and you can form some new ordinances to make it friendly to homeowners that live in the area, people move out to the country because they want that serenity and
Yep.
privacy and
That piece. Yep. All
beauty.
of that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, man! Thank
Yes.
you for shedding some light on that. That is a whole new issue
It
to,
is.
to
It
go down the
is.
rabbit hole
Yeah.
with. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, Cynthia. Let's talk about some mistakes that some home buyers may make. When they're first getting into this process, that we don't know too much. You're the expert, so can you share maybe 3 common popular mistakes that a lot of home buyers make and how they should try to avoid them?
Okay. I would say the number one mistake is jumping online and looking for the best interest rate. Over and over again, I personally in my career have dealt with lenders that are out in the blue, or they're big bank lenders like Chase or Wells Fargo, those kinds of things. It is really, really beneficial to a buyer if you pick a local lender. Who do you bank with? Is it a credit union, MSU, FCU? Is it a local lender here in our area where you can just drop paperwork off and you're not sending it through the web where it can get, corrupted? And so I think it's really, really, I just always recommend to people that they use a local lender because it just makes their life so much easier. And honestly, a lot of times when you get those cheap rates, they've factored points, buying down points, and they're not going to tell you that until you're already way into the process. And then you're like, well,
Mm,
where's my rate? And they're like, oh, okay, well, you need to provide X number of dollars to get that
right.
rate instead of just
Right.
giving you the actual rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Another thing
Oof.
is with buyers, I feel like, buyers are so smart now. They have so much at their fingertips. I mean,
Uh-huh.
it's just unreal to me how far Zillow and all of these, Redfin and different sites have gone over the years. And I think it's important to see those things, but a lot of times those sites are not updated properly. The Zestimate or whatever on Zillow, oftentimes it's not accurate what they're using
Right.
for an estimated value. And so I think it's so important that when you meet with your real estate agent and you sit down and you go over what you're looking for and they set up a search for you and drill it down to what you're looking for, those are the listings that you want to really focus on that they send you. And of course, if you see something that you just absolutely love, of course, send it to your agent. But I just think
Mm-hmm.
utilizing the MLS and sending properties, available properties, is important too, just for the getting the accurate information that they need. What could be the third one? I don't know if I have a third one.
You brought up some interesting ones that I wasn't actually expecting. If I'm being quite honest, I thought the main one you would have mentioned, which I'm pretty sure you already know, would be making large credit purchases or applying for
Oh,
credit
yes,
cards in the
yes,
middle of the process.
yes, absolutely. And I actually had that happen to me. They went out
Oh
and got a
man,
Home Depot card, and so our closing was delayed by 2 weeks. They didn't have a single thing on it, but you can't prove that
the
with a
fact,
phone
yeah,
call.
yep.
You have to wait
Mm-hmm.
for that paperwork to come through. So, absolutely, that is number one. Number one. Don't buy anything once you're pre approved on a credit card.
No.
Don't even get a free credit card when they harass you at Home Depot. Nothing,
Right.
nothing.
Now, the two other ones that you mentioned though are very key and instrumental though. Like those are ones that I honestly don't hear too often. But the credit
Sure.
one I hear
Oh,
very often. So that's why I was kind of
absolutely.
anticipate. But I'm
Yes.
glad you brought a different angle to that also, Cynthia. So hey, what about Sharon? I want to take this time to talk about inspirational and motivational content. Any book, movie, quotes, any other type of media that you kind of consume, you feel like changed your life, inspired your life for the better at all, you want to share with me and our audience?
Sure. Well, I think there's a lot of really great real estate podcasts out there, yours included. And one thing that really changed my life, previously in my life before I moved to Michigan, I was a landlord. I had 33 rentals, and
Mm.
I found a website that's called biggerpockets.com, and they
Ding ding
have
ding.
hundreds of
Yep.
podcasts, and they're
Yep.
mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
Every investor or potential investor I work with, I always mention it, and they are always so
Yeah.
grateful. With people are starting out, they just maybe don't, but you love it too. It's a
Yep.
phenomenal website, and you can actually advertise on there as an agent or
Mm-hmm.
a landlord or whatever you want to do. But just the podcasts are gold. They're gold, and so I would just listen to them all the time. That was life
I
changing for
was
me.
Yeah, I was literally on that website today. Today. Oh, I was on the YouTube channel, literally looking at their pod.
Okay.
I mean, they do
Yeah.
such a great job. I'm like, I definitely can get some ideas from this. So I was
Oh,
literally looking
yes.
today at some of their
Good.
podcasts. Bigger
Good. Yeah.
pockets. Yes, love
Yes.
them. Love them.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Well, thank you so much for pulling up a chair and talking to us, giving us a lot of free game, Cynthia. We appreciate that. At this point, if you have any last words and or want to tell the people how they can reach out to you, please do so now.
All right. Thank you for having me on. And you can reach out to me, Cynthia Malmquist, and Cynthia. I don't even know. Our company just got bought, so I don't even know what my email is. But Cynthia, you can find me on. You just Google my name, you'll find me. That's good enough. That's how we find everybody nowadays, anyway. So I
Absolutely.
appreciate it, and it was a good learning experience for me because it really makes you sit and assess where you're at in your career, in your life. I thought, do I really have anything valuable to give you? And
Oh,
so it really
absolutely.
it really gives you some reflection on your career, which
Hmm.
I love. I wish I had done this from when I was 18. And that's what I would recommend to anybody: start early, get in, live your best life.
Tell them. There you go. Well said. And we have the links for Cynthia. We will leave the links to her social medias in our description and our bio. So make sure you check that out if you want to reach out to her. Thank you again, Cynthia. We appreciate you. If you've gotten this far in the video to our YouTube audience, now is your time to hit the thumb button. Give us a good like. We appreciate it. Also, make sure you share the channel and the content and also subscribe to our channel. Okay, please do that. And for our Spotify, Apple, or any other podcast platform listeners, please do the same. Give us a like, 5-star rating, and subscribe for our latest content. And Cynthia, before we leave, I always leave our audience with a question. So audience, this is for you. What reasons would you see yourself purchasing a condo rather than a single family home? Don't tell us now. Let us know in the comments below. Besides that, we'll talk to you next time.